second?
Madam Chair, I'd like to move that we adopt the minutes separately because some of the commissioners were not present at both meetings, so I move that we adopt the minutes February 15th, 2023.
I second.
Any questions on the motion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, minutes of February 22nd now.
I move, likewise, we adopt the minutes of February 22nd, 2023.
I second the motion.
Any questions on the motion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Yes. Okay. We have a consent agenda with 6 items. Are there any of the commissioners want to move anything off of the consent agenda? Any questions on any of the material on the consent agenda? I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt the consent agenda.
I second.
Any questions on the motion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 We have 2 items on the regular agenda. The matter of the application of Delmarva Power and Light for approval of modifications to its natural gas cost rates. And we have Brian Jordan from DP&L.
Good afternoon, Acting Chair, Commissioners. May it please the Commission, Brian Jordan for Delmarva Power and Light Company. And I'm here today to move for relief under Section 20, open paren D, closed paren, and Section 304A of the Delaware Code. If this application looks familiar, it's because about a year ago I was in front of the Commission on a similar application where we had to move to adjust the gas cost rate because of an under-recovery. This year, however, we're moving because we have an over-recovery. That has been caused by various things, including a milder temperature over the wintertime, our supply, and continuing market fluctuations. This year, when we filed our GCR in August, we were seeking a proposed rate of 93.845 cents per CCF to be effective November 1st, 2022 with proration. However, since November 1st, 2022, and as a result of the causes that I mentioned, we found ourselves in a projected over-recovery of approximately $27.9 million through the end of the GCR year, which is through October 2023. The cause of this was approximately because from November through January of 2023, prices dropped 28%. Our projection for February 2023 through October 23 is a further decrease of 39% in prices. That leaves us an estimated over-recovery as of January 31st of $10.2 million or 9.8% over our original filing. That 9.8% triggered our obligation under Section 20D that I mentioned earlier. That requires us to either seek a waiver or file an application for a rate adjustment when the projected over-recovery is 4.5% or greater than the original estimate. So that's what we're here to do today. We're asking that the Commission allow us to adjust the GCR rate from the 93.845 cents CCF to the lower number of 72.187 CCF. For a residential or residential space heating customer averaging 25 CCF per month from April through October, it would be a monthly decrease of about $5.41 on their bill. We're also moving under 26 Del Code 304A that the Commission waive the 60-day requirement for rates. And we're doing it because there's good cause to do so. First, it would maximize the ability to reduce this over-recovery and put the monthly rate decrease into the customer's hands. It also, by reducing that projected over-recovery, would reduce it from $27.9 million to about $19.9 million that would be recovered in the next GCR year. So in other words, if the Commission does grant the application, it would reduce our over-recovery by about $7.9 million. That said, I'm happy to take questions, but first I did want to thank staff for preparing the proposed order before the Commission. And with that, like I said, I'm happy to take any questions that you may have.
Well, Before I call for questions, I'm going to thank you for the good news.
Thank you, Acting Chair. I wanted to spend the whole hour talking about what a great thing this is for everyone, and it really is. Thank you.
Commissioner Korea has a question, please.
When the refund or reduction of rates is given, for example, next month, say April 1, will there be an insert in the bill, or will there be a line saying that this bill includes this much reduction?
There will be that notice, yes, Your Honor.
I presume so. But
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Ms. Pope? for
Thank you,
staff.
Madam Acting Chair. Summer Pope on behalf of staff. Staff is in agreement with the form of order today and respectfully request that the commission approve it. Staff would like to thank the DPA and Delmarva for their assistance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Price?
I will see if my counsel is available. Gina? Oh, not being present. I will say that the DPA has read the order and agrees. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If there are no further questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Acting Chair, I propose that we adopt order number 10195 as presented.
Second?
I second the motion.
Any questions on the motion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, and the second item on the agenda is our report from Siemens. Patricia Gannon, please.
Good afternoon, Madam Acting Chair and Commissioners. We began the SOS process with Delmarva Power's filing in August of 2022. We've held 3 auctions, and Siemens PTI is on the phone today to present the final report. The report is linked on the Commission agenda, and the summary presentation that Siemens will be talking from is filed in the docket. Ian O'Biergan is an Energy Risk Consulting Manager at Siemens Power Technology International Group. He has more than 18 years of economic and financial modeling experience in the energy industry. At the end of the presentation, staff respectfully asks you to accept the report. And Mr. Biergan, all yours.
Madam Acting Chair, if I could interrupt, apparently someone's put us on hold, so I just need to reestablish the conference line.
All right, thank you.
Your passcode has been confirmed. Please wait while you are joined to the conference.
Hello, this is Yonar Vidjan. I apologize, but I'm not sure about other people on the phone, but we have a background music here. We cannot pretty much hear anything on the phone.
Yeah, Mr. Bergine, someone has put us on hold, so Tricia Gannon from staff can run through the slides.
Okay, so is Trisha going to do that?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Tricia.
Okay. Let me see. Page 3, highlights of the 2023 RFP. The RFP procured 13 blocks of energy in 3 tranches totaling 592.1 megawatts of load. We held 3 auctions. The auction process was conducted in a manner consistent with the RFP guidelines end-to-end. Unawarded blocks from tranche 1 were re-auctioned in tranche 2, and unawarded blocks from tranche 2 were re-auctioned in tranche 3. Winning bids were significantly higher than last year due to higher energy prices and increased risk premium for unhedgeable risk included by suppliers in their bids. So the suppliers are including higher prices because of the risk market conditions and were based on a fair and competitive auction process. The next slide shows the different blocks of energy that were procured for residential, small commercial, and industrial, RISC, medium general service, large general service, and general service primary. Page 5. The level of participation was lower than in previous years, but still enough to ensure a competitive bidding process. So last year we had 12 interested. This year we only had 10. Last year we had 8 who were eligible. This year we had 7. And the biggest drop was in participation. 8 participated in last year, while only 5 suppliers participated this year. Page 6 shows the bid activity, the number of bidders, and the number of bids that we received for each block. Page 7 shows the winning bidders, the 4 that won blocks of energy this year. Page 8 shows the awarded load allocation, how much energy each of the suppliers bid on and received. So as you can see, the most activity is in our residential section. Page 9 are the weighted average winning bid prices by year. So this is where you see that it is a significant change this year for customers. The residential could be looking at like a $20 increase or a 31% change in their bill. Page 10 gives you a little bit more detail about the bill impacts that we'll be seeing. Again, each segment is going to see a greater than usual increase in their bill, anywhere from 9 to 30%. Page 11 again shows that we received some really good prices in 2021, 2022, and 2023. The prices have just continued to rise in the markets. Page 12, Siemens PTI concluded that the energy market prices have increased, and we witnessed elevated levels of volatility during calendar year 2022. Since mid-December, forward prices for both natural gas and power have been decreasing significantly. Opening bid prices for all 3 tranches were set at levels that reflected the market and encouraged greater supplier participation. The auction process was conducted in a manner consistent with the RFP guidelines. The auction was well run on the NLX auction platform, and given the level of participation from suppliers led to a competitive outcome. The winning bid prices were in line with existing market conditions and the risks perceived by suppliers. Winning bids were based on the competitive auction processes.
Thank you. Any questions?
Couple of points. You and Siemens PTI have done a great job from November to February. So thank you for the good job to both of you. Also on page 9, wanted to bring the point again to everyone's attention that look at all the 4 bids we have and see the difference. $20, $14, $38, $36. It is, as you said, it is inflation, market pricing, and also the market has become very riskier because of recession coming and all those things. So that's the time we are passing through. Electric utilities and the gas and all utilities and water So thank you for that comparative tables.
Thank you, Siemens.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just a second. Thank you for the presentation. Also, thanks to Siemens. I'm a little confused, and maybe, Matt, you could get our agent back on the phone if necessary. But if the prices for the winning bids are higher due to hedging, why then a lower number of bidders against higher prices for the bids? A 32 to 60% increase in the bid price would seem to me to encourage more bidders. Is there a rationale behind this outcome?
Mr. Bergin, are you with us?
As I said, there was pretty much of a music background covering overlapping discussion. We couldn't hear a thing.
Can you hear me? Can you hear Commissioner Gray? I have a question for you.
Yes, go ahead.
My statement is that the price is higher due to hedging, but you have a lower number of bidders. It would seem to me the bid prices increasing 32 to 60% would encourage more bidders. Can you explain the rationale behind that outcome?
As described in the presentation, the price increase can be explained by two things. One, the fact that last year, and especially at the level of the auction, the first tranche of the auction, the prices were very high. Volatility was very high as well. Secondly is the perceived risk, higher risk that migration poses to suppliers right now. It's a market that has changed. The economic landscape has changed. The industry has changed by the change in technology. There are different rules that apply right now to the risk quantification by the suppliers and the way they perceive that risk, and the risk in the market as well.
So,
and unfortunately, we use similar type of instruments, similar type of products to address a changed landscape in the industry. And again, I cannot put myself in the shoes of the suppliers and understand exactly how they do their business, and that's beyond the scope of our engagement. But again, I understand the fact that in the changing industry, they might treat the risks differently than before.
okay, thank you. I think you've addressed an answer to explain the reason why the prices have been elevated to cover those risks and uncertainties. But when the prices do go up, that is a counter against the risk, which should encourage more bidders. And my question is more specifically, why then would we see fewer bidders if the prices did escalate to this level to cover the risk and the uncertainty? Why fewer bidders?
Why fewer bidders? Uncertainty is always something that is not appreciated, let's put it like that, by anybody in the marketplace. So consumers want the stability of price, producer wants the stability of price, everybody wants the prices to be stable. Any kind of uncertainty around prices creates, again, increased risks that, unfortunately, at this moment in time, as I said, in a changing industry, with the same mechanisms as before, so I'm not adapted to the changing industry, are passed potentially entirely to the consumer.
So
the more uncertainty there is, the more volatility there is, it's passed to the consumer. Some producer or suppliers really don't want to participate due to this kind of uncertainty. So they have rules, internal rules in their risk management departments to take a certain amount of risk. That risk is limited by their standard operating procedures and rules of operations.
understood.
These kind of contracts in nowadays state of the industry pose a lot of risk that they don't want to take anymore.
Okay, so I understand and appreciate that perspective. I have one other question. Would we not have expected some downward pressure on these prices, these winning bid prices, because of the statement made about the lower forward prices for gas and power? Would that not have contributed to lowering some of the winning bid prices?
That actually happened. So if we look at the MGS
Page number?
class,
Page number, please.
we are on the results weighted average winning bid price by delivery year. That's page 9. So if you look at MGS price for 2023 at 77.61, that is definitely lower than it was bid under less competitive lack of competitiveness in Tranche 1, and definitely less than RCSI at 84.33. So as prices went down for Tranche 2, the bidding was lower. Like the bids were lower than before.
Was that? Do you feel that that was an outcome of the timing of those tranches that went into the market?
MGS in the first tranche was bid under lack of competitiveness, and the prices, the price bids over there at that moment in time were much higher.
I see. Okay.
In the second tranche, when they cleared under competitive environment and the prices were lower in the market, the outcome was lower.
Would that have not had the same effect for LGS and GSP?
That is for LGS and GSP because the blocks are high, the volumes are high for the consumers, and they're not residential or medium size. As I said, the risk of migration is very important here. So
Okay.
economic environment with the coming recession, potential recession that is announced pretty much every day, that the recession is coming. Whether it's coming or not, I don't know, and nobody knows. But that's the expectations. These are the expectations that 2023 would be a recession year, at least at the beginning.
Okay.
With that in mind, industrial consumers might reduce their operations or shut down operations for good. That type of risk of not having load anymore, as I mentioned many times, is mitigated right now in absence of other instruments by the suppliers through a pass-through of that risk to the consumer. That reflects in a higher price.
Understood. Perfect. So I think you've given me a perspective on both of these questions, for which I appreciate your comments. Madam Acting Chair, I have no further questions.
Thank you. Anybody, any other questions? Thank you very much, Ms. Gannon, and thank you to Siemens for doing a fine job again. Are there any members of the public who would like to comment? There being none, we'll go on to administrative matters and the director's comments.
Madam Acting Chair?
Yes.
Point of order. I think we are expected to adopt this report.
Oh.
So on that basis, I'd like to make a motion that the commission adopt the report as submitted.
And I second.
Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm sorry, I just was reading ahead. Mr. Hardigan.
Oh, thank you, Madam Acting Chair. Just a few items today. First, I would like to formally welcome Harry Baumgarten to the PSC. Harry is replacing Bill O'Brien, and no one was happier to see him than Summer. So I'm sure Harry will have some items before you in the near future. Second item concerns Delmarva Power's grant application under the Infrastructure Investments and Jobs Act. We've discussed this in the past. Delmarva is filing an application to the Department of Energy for a grant that would support an underground infrastructure project, undergrounding. So what this will do is move service from customers' backyards, which are now in overhead poles and wires, to underground at the front of the property. And the company expects that to reduce outages and increase resiliency. And the company would like the commission to approve a letter that they could include in their application saying that we support the grant application. Staff thinks that's a good idea. This is a worthwhile project, and the federal money will offset money that the company would have otherwise spent for infrastructure projects. So with your approval, I can provide the company a letter indicating your support.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
So undergrounding wires in backyards is probably a good idea, especially in tree-lined neighborhoods. My question is the application or the funds that are expected sufficient to cover the state of Delaware, all of the service territory? What kind of duration in time would such a project take? I'm just curious.
I might need to phone a friend here.
Yeah. Is there anyone in the room who can speak to that?
Jake Sneeden with Delmarva Power. So I don't have all the details off the top of my head, but a few components. Primarily, the work is based in Newcastle County. That's where we have the most rear lot overhead lines, and this will move the lines to the front, but also underground them, so less storm damage and easier to access if there is an issue than going to a rear lot. That's the bulk of what we're going after. There's also a component to upgrade the infrastructure and underground infrastructure in Wilmington, which is another portion of the program. This is work that we are already doing, and it's something that we do on an annual basis. So this will help us actually accelerate and do more. To bring, our goal is to bring all of that rear lot overhead to the in front of the properties.
So the city of Wilmington is in Newcastle County. Does it include the city of Wilmington bringing wires from the back underground to the front?
I'm not sure that there's a large portion of overhead in overhead rear lot in Wilmington. The bulk of the Wilmington portion is actually underground infrastructure that's aging and already underground and needs to be refurbished and modernized because we're seeing challenges with it.
Okay, I know that there is overhead backyard infrastructure in the city. So I'm just trying to understand whether that's within the scope or outside the scope of what you're doing.
Yeah, I'll take that back and we can follow
Right,
up.
that's fine. Offline is fine. I just would like to have some feedback on that. And is
Absolutely.
this all electric in scope, or
Yes,
is
this
there
is-
also gas infrastructure included?
No, this is just electric.
Okay, no further questions. Thank you.
Jake, I have a question, and that is, how many people will this employ? Or is it projected to employ?
I'll have to get back to you on that. We do have that data. It's in the slide deck. I just don't have it off the top of my head.
More questions?
Madam Acting Chair,
Yes.
may I ask a question? When, how many homes what is the amount of the grant?
I believe it's approximately $50 million, but let me.
It's 1.5 over 5 years? Does that sound?
1.5 million over 5 years.
Right.
No, I think it's significantly more. I think it's 50 million.
Over
I think. Let me get the details for you and bring it back. And if you'd like, we can send around like a overview of the program if that's easier.
As well as, another question, please. As well as, who is this grant primarily delivered for? What kind of homes?
What kind of homes? I believe.
Which kind of neighborhoods?
I believe it's homes constructed between, I want to say, in the 60s and 70s when we had the rear lot in development. think there's a significant portion that would be considered underserved communities.
Correct.
I don't believe it's not newer homes. These are all older
It's
homes.
underserved communities, as I understand it.
A significant portion. I don't want to say
Yeah.
all, but yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Gray?
I think underserved is great, but if your motive and goal here, especially for tree-lined communities, is to prevent the outages and enhance the reliability, then the economic well-being of the community is only one of many parameters I think you should be using. When is the deadline for your application for this grant?
The deadline is April. I believe it's April 4th.
April 4th. I'm just wondering, is it possible to put eyes on any of this between now and then?
We have another meeting March 29th. We could
Yeah.
discuss this further.
Yeah, we can. It would be great if we could come back and give a full presentation. We're happy to do that.
If that's suitable to you, Madam Chair, that would interest me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. I think it's a great idea, so don't stop your work in the meantime.
Appreciate that.
So I'll hold off on the letter until
Please.
our next meeting. Thanks. The second issue was regarding the Indian River FERC complaint that we filed last year. Just wanted to give you a quick update and get some guidance. As you know, NRG is keeping that plant in Millsboro operational at the request of PJM until Delmarva can complete some transmission projects in Sussex County in Maryland. The complaint has entered into the settlement negotiation phase, and I won't go into that publicly, but I just wanted to get your guidance about if a settlement is reached, would you like me to bring that before you to formally approve, or the other option is you could delegate that authority to me, and then obviously I would update you at the next the meeting after things are finally settled.
Commissioners?
To the extent that the settlement is going to manifest in cost on the ratepayers, then I think it might be prudent that we have at least some visibility of what's coming so that we can weigh in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I believe that's all I have, and our next meeting is March 29th.
Is there anything else to come before this august body? There being none, we stand adjourned.